Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New Artist Spotlight podcast. It's been a while. I'm Wilko Wilkes. I'm going to be your host today, and you'll be hearing a lot more of me going forward as well as we interview some of the finest independent artists from around the globe. The dulcet tones of Plummy are now gone, and they will be missed. We'll all miss him, I'm sure. But thankfully, I'm not going to be doing this alone. Watch out for a mystery announcement at the end of this show, which will give you a little bit of an insight into what's going to happen going forward. The whole of the New Artist Spotlight community are part of this podcast, and we hope to get as many of you on the show as possible in the coming months and years. Any questions or comments that you've got on the podcast, please get in touch. You can DM me or email me on wilkowilkes@gmail.com. And remember, you can always check out newartistspotlight.org for some of the best playlists in world music, plus news, reviews, loads of good content on there. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our guest for today. Hailing from hip-hop hotspot Detroit, he's one of the upcoming stars in rap. And when you hear his new track, Lock In, later in the show, I'm sure you'll agree. But welcome to the show, Origin Crxss.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Good to have you on, mate.
Thank you. It's good to finally be here. I've been plotting on these interviews for the longest.
Yeah, well, you're a man in demand, you know, you're on the rise. So hopefully there'll be plenty more interviews and stuff for you as well. So yeah, I mean, I love your work as well. It's you've got some great tracks. I've been listening to your back catalogue. But for people who haven't heard your music, how would you describe it?
Man, that's always a really interesting question to get. I don't have a good answer for that, just because even recently I did a poll on my Instagram where I was like, all right, if you can compare me to any other artist, like, who would you say? And everybody just like, no, you just sound like you got your own sound. But influence wise, as I'm sure you could probably hear in like Lock In, you can probably see I put like a lot of influence from like those artists with that like really aggressive attack. Even though I try to pull in some musicality with it, so like an Eminem or unlike guys like Hobson or Dax or Token, something like that. Those guys that are just phenomenal lyrically and stuff like that.
I thought a little bit of Dax as well. I mean, he is. I've only been introduced to him pretty recently, and yeah, the guy is good. And yeah, I heard a bit of that in your music, and that's a really good idea as well. I might steal that about the asking other people who you sound like.
Yeah,
good idea.
It's a good way to see who people are kind of comparing and contrasting you to.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know what other people are thinking when they listen to your music, do you? So I like that idea. So you've recently changed your artist name, haven't you? I think you were Origin before, and now you are Origin Crxss. Why was that, and how did you end up adding the cross, and why Crxss? And what was the sort of process?
So, like you said, originally I was just Origin, and like I've had that name since, I don't know, middle school or something like that. And it's just because my whole thing was just like originality. So I've seen recently that there's just a lot of artists that are starting to take the name Origin. Like I just looked it up on Instagram, and there was like 10 different accounts of people named Origin who are artists, and search for it on Google, you get everything else before me. Same thing with YouTube. So the name was just basically just overpopulated. And so I felt like I needed something that was actually original. So I did another poll, and because I really want to make it a thing to like make my fans feel involved in like me as an artist and stuff like that, and really make them feel like they're a part of the bigger picture. So I did another poll, and I'm like, I'm thinking of changing my name. You guys got any ideas, anything that you feel like might fit? And even though I already went back and forth with my wife and like one of my best friends who's on a lot of my songs, Cool City, and I just asked, like, thinking of these different names. Do you like any of these? Do you like any of these? And actually, my boy Cool City was the one who said Crxss, but it was just Crxss spelled the regular way. And I'm like, all right, so now how do I make this into something else for me? And I put the X in the middle, just a stylistic change that I felt really, I put a cross inside a cross. And
I like that.
Thank you. And basically the idea was I wanted something that alluded to like my religion. and like my faith, because I feel like that's always something I incorporate in my music. And without that, I'm a different artist completely. So that's how I settled on Cross. It was the only thing that we had came up with that either didn't suck or, it sounded cool. It was easy to say. And I wanted to keep Origin because I have Origin merch. I have Origin everything, my license plate. If you see my last music video, it comes on and it's just Origin. So I wanted people to still be able to call me Origin, and I wanted to be able to keep the nickname OG that I got from my fans shortening Origin. And it fit. Add a last name. You can still go by your first name. And the process it was easier than I thought it would be. Basically, I just went on DistroKid and I put in an edit request on the last song I put out, which was Show and Tell at the time. And basically, it gives you an option to update across your entire catalog. So I just select the option. It tells you like, all right, it'll be reviewed. We'll get back to you. And then some stores take like a couple of weeks to process it. And so Spotify was the quickest, as I think it always is with things now. Started switching stuff over to a new artist page. And then I just had to contact Spotify, like through Spotify for Artists, and say, hey, I got a new artist page. Can you transfer my followers over? So I didn't have to like start up from zero. And they got right back to me. It was like, yeah, sure. Then they asked me if I wanted to keep the old page or let it go. And I'm like, I'll keep it so that nobody else can claim it and I can still see all my old stats. And they were just like, all right, cool. And that was like, they made it really
good.
simple and easy.
It's good to know that it's easy. I love that cross within the cross thing as well. I've not really not thought of it like that before, but that's really cool. It's in the middle as well.
Yeah.
I like a bit of symmetry. So cool. So going like right back to the beginning, then you mentioned that you've had this name since middle school. What sort of got you into music in the first place, and what's your sort of history with music?
Yeah, so when I was like really, really young, my dad would like if he was driving over to a friend's house or one of my friends' house or something like that, he would always play Tupac in the car. And so that was like really my introduction to rap. And because I have older parents, so they usually listen to like old school jazz and R&B and things like that. So the Tupac wasn't really like a thing that was just like normally played around the house a lot. And I don't know what it was like. All Eyes on Me, which was he had it on cassette tape, and he would play it, and I'm like, I love this.
Yeah,
I just
it's a good place to start.
Yes, sir. And from there, just growing up in the city, that's pretty much like the most popular genre that you're gonna find anywhere. And Eminem, and I don't know, like when I went like tough times and stuff like that, for some reason, Eminem's music just connected with me and made me just like,
yeah, I'm the same. How old are you, by the way? I wonder if we're from the same era. I was born in 88.
I was born in 97.
24. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. I'm a lot older than you then. But no, yeah, I mean, even over here, like everyone knows Detroit because of Eminem and because of 8 Mile and stuff like that. And it must be a cool place to be doing rapping in.
No, not really. See, the thing about Detroit is as much talent as there is here and as much good things about it that people won't really tell you outside of Detroit. But the one drawback of Detroit is there are a lot of people here who don't support because either they feel like it's gonna your success is gonna draw from their success, or they just don't want to see somebody else be successful and they don't feel like they're successful. Like, I don't know what it is here, but the mentality is so backwards. Instead of helping each other grow, we try to stop somebody else's growth so that we can grow ourselves and, not realize that their growth can help our growth. And as a unit, we're much stronger. But
yeah, and I think that's one of the good things about the new artist spotlight community, that everyone's got each other's backs, and that's the way it should be. We're all doing the same thing, music artists. But I think I've found a similar experience at times. You've got people who you might fit with quite well, and then they just don't bother respond, or they don't Yeah, I know what you mean. I think people are quite protective of their own thing, aren't they? And maybe just don't back each other up as much as they could do.
Yeah,
So
and it's like there's enough room for everybody around us to grow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone loves music. There's enough people out there, and we're all different as well. And like your stuff is a lot different from my stuff. I'm a rapper as well, and so yeah, as a rapper,
Very fast rapper.
yeah, I try. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested in your processes and stuff. Like, how do you go about your writing? Do you make your own beats? Do you write to music, or do you write and then find a beat, or how does it work for you?
So, and it's connected to the first question you asked about how I kind of got into it. And to actually finish answering that, really it was my cousin who is a singer. We ended up meeting in high school, finding out or middle school, 8th grade, finding out we were cousins, and then just saying like, hey, we want to work on music. You sing, I rap, let's just do it. So that's really the beginning. And we're just recording on a laptop, just the sound recorder on the laptop and the beat playing off YouTube at the same time from the same laptop. It was very bad. But so the process has obviously changed since then. So I used to just write. That would just be I would just write in a notebook and I would say the raps, or I would record videos for YouTube and just rap, no beats or nothing like that. And then as things progressed, like I said, me and my cousin started to work on music. I would write and then I would try to force it to fit to a beat, or trying to find a beat that fit the best and then try to put that to that. But that didn't seem to really be working well, because then you would have to go back and restructure things, or you would have to try to, oh, well, the beat does this cool thing right here. So I feel like something should have emphasis right here, but I don't have anything with emphasis till here. And it was like a process. So I began starting to find the beats first and then writing to the beats. Then I had the great idea that a lot of us have as rappers is, ooh, if I can make my own beats, I don't have to pay anybody for it, and it'll be exactly what I want. And then I was terrible at making beats, so I stuck to just finding beats or buying beats and then writing to those beats.
I think I've gone through a very similar process myself. Yeah, you sort of learn from your mistakes, don't you, and then move on to the next thing, and then you identify a whole new load of mistakes that you've got to. But yeah, no, I'm in the phase at the moment of trying to write my own beats and not being very good at it. But yeah, maybe we'll get there. I'm hoping. I'm going to be in this for a long term. So, did you see yourself as like, something? This is something you could be doing for life?
Do I see myself making music for life?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always said, no matter what I become, because I've always wanted to either be, and I'm going to say this for everybody to hear, a rapper or a wrestler. And wrestler was first. Like I wanted to be in WWE. That was the
Nice.
dream. Then I wanted to sing, realized I couldn't sing. And I'm like, well, rap is kind of like it because you can still use your words, make people feel things. And that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a rapper. But yeah, I always said no matter what, like even if I became a wrestler, if I did anything else, because like I have a mechanical engineering degree, I work as an engineer. So I'm like, no matter what I do, I'm always gonna rap. And nowadays you can have your own home studio, you can have everything you need basically at your house, and it's a lot more convenient, a lot less expensive than it would have been in a different era. So I feel like it's a thing that's definitely sustainable. Like even if for some reason I never make it in music, I can always continue to make music because that's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I think we're pretty lucky like that to live in this era. And yeah, again, similar to myself as well, with the sort of not feeling like quite a good enough singer, and but rapping, it's using a lot of the same stuff, isn't it? Rhythm, and there's definitely skills to it that I think maybe I took it for granted, but a lot of people can't rap and a lot of people don't have the skills. But you, my friend, are certainly somebody who can rap.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about this new single then, Lock In.
Oh, Lock In. So Lock In is basically a track that addresses all those people who kind of see that you might be successful, but you know, they're not genuinely there trying to support you. They just want to stay along for the ride in case you do become successful, and then you can help them out some type of way. So the song is basically lock in now while I'm still trying to get it, because once I've got it, don't try to come back. You can't, can't come a knocking on my door later on saying, hey man, remember me? Yeah, man, I've always supported you. I just never showed it out, in tangible ways. But yeah, I've always supported you. I'm so glad you're doing it. Like, no, like you have now to show your support. And then after that, somebody else is going to support, and I'm not going to have to ask them to. So lock in now.
Love that. Yeah. And you're right. There's a lot of people who you think could be supporting you, maybe more. But I mean, because there's some people who really show you support as an independent artist. They've got people who I've never even met who, share everything I do and are always bigging me up. And you do wonder about what's going to happen like further down the line, whether people will still be there, or like you say, people show their faces if you start to make it. But yeah, it's a great track anyway. I've listened to it several times. So we'll play it now. Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, so this song is my latest single, Lock In, available everywhere on all streaming services. Check it out, and I appreciate you listening.
Locking, I can't let you come and knocking. Locking, it's that fire, this be rocking. Gotta locking, got my scope, I got my target. Now they treat me like an option. When I blow, just know we not finna. I've been laser focused on my goals, I can see them now. I got the vision, can't reduce it or subtract it out. Moving radical, my grouping isn't with the crowd. I move quiet, my success has just been talking loud. I can't help it, I've been grinding, ain't no pretty Ricky. Who used to diss me, life sucking, count like 60 hickeys. I'm shifting quickly, gearing up, you gotta watch the envy. They marvel at me like a Twitter war with Walt Disney. They full of resentment. See how I move independent, I ain't attached, they wanna be back cool. With Albert the Bridge and the remnants all on my neck chain. Or where to be like it's a pendant. Told you get down before I get it, last 2 minutes, you with it or you gon' witness when it's all aboard. Cloud of smoke, that engine roars, don't get hit by sliding doors. Scream for help, I might ignore. Forward, I'm moving toward. When I tour, need crowd support. Show for 1 or 1,000 more. Bill before you leaving north. Locking, I can't let you come and knocking. Locking, it's that fire, this be rocking. Gotta locking, got my scope, I got my target. Now they treat me like an option. When I blow, just know we not finna. Nobody's touching me right now. I put the beat in the grinder. I'm just getting my traction. All the rest gon' slide by. Hydroplane, I fly high. On the higher plane, I set sights on finer things. Then red wine down Perion under the star skies. Chatting up my bloodline, ain't none of them gon' struggle. So it's worth all my trouble. I teach them things like giving thanks, and all of them gon' hustle. No real recognize real, and the right ones gon' lay. Why people never did show up? Only after my glow up. Treat them more like smokers. At their neck like stone mud. They slept on me, then woke up. I hauled off, face so up. And put them back in their beds like Toyota Tacoma. My Roman known to be fresh. I can smell a foul request. From a chicken head or a lame duck trying to party at my fest. Ain't support when I had less. You failed that pre-test, so you may never be my guest. You just moving my behest. You can kill those regrets, just locking, I can't let you come and knocking. Locking, it's that fire, this be rocking. Gotta locking, got my scope, I got my target. Now they treat me like an option. When I blow, just know we not finna. No, we not. Who said shoot your shot? Oh, he thought. Now they know that feeling when you wear ball, watch it drop. Used to go for shorties who would pass around the wop. Hey, thanks a lot. Should've got you blocked, but I gotta let you see me. Make it look so easy. Know who ain't believe me. You pop up on the TV, now you hit me, that's just creepy. Oh, I'm doing good, nothing major, can't complain. Oh, and by the way, who is this? Ain't got you saved. Oh, wasn't you the one throwing dirt all on my name? Now you see me ballin', wanna join in on the game. Come on, that's just lame. Go think I got an offer. How about you hop off? And when I'm meeting at your job, my drink you may top off. No, you do not know me, and do not tell your boss. You ain't locking with the old me, so your tip just might get lost.
Amazing. What a tune that was. Thank you. And I love it. I love how you mix up your flow in it. It all keeps it interesting.
Thanks. Yeah, I definitely try to keep the flow switching throughout the track to keep it, attractive to your ears and things like that.
Yeah, you can tell with some rappers it's the same flow or it's the same all the way through. With you, you can tell that you think about that and you think about the structure of your songs, and it's always on the mind, isn't it?
Yeah,
and that's what's going to
definitely
differentiate yourself from other rappers, I think, and make it, get you ahead of other people who don't really have that in them.
Yeah, I'm really technical. That's always been my approach. I've always been like I said, just technical with everything that I do, as far as bars, as far as song structure came later. But now that I'm like getting better at it, it's definitely a thing that I try to actually sit down and make sure is as good as it can be. So I look at the beat, like I'll pull it up in my DAW. I use Studio One, and I'll actually look at it like, okay, this is meant to be this part. This is meant to be a bridge, or this producer just kind of freeballed it and he just kind of made it random. So I just kind of got to figure out how to either structure it or just flow with it, to make it as dope as it can be. So yeah, definitely just trying to approach it technically and then make it sound like I didn't.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. And I think one of the criticisms people throw at rappers as well, they say, anyone can do that. It's just talking. So I think when you do add the technical elements, it is better because you're proving that it's not something that anyone can do.
Yeah, definitely. Because I appreciate the people who go out of their way, or not even go out of their way, but they take the time to say, yeah, dude, I could never do that. Like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how your brain comes up with that stuff, because it's not easy. And if it is easy, then either one, you probably suck, or two, you're probably amazing. But for a regular person to come up with the things that we as rappers who are actually like dope rappers say, like it would take them like years, like months. Like they would sit there and have to brainstorm and like put so much work into it. And for us, we can make a song in a day, a week, something like that, and like it will come out, really, really good. And like I don't think people realize that it is a craft and it is like something you have to work at, because no one just starts off at the top of their game.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think there's like you say, and people can say, oh, well, it's easy, I could do that, but they're not doing it. And I think until you do sit down and you start writing and trying to write a song, and then you don't get like 2 lines in and think, no, this is rubbish, and quit. And, there's all sorts that goes into it, isn't there? And, tweaking things and then practicing and recording and getting your voice projection right. And I mean, there's a million and one things to think about, isn't there? But I think people who don't understand it will still just say, nah, he's just talking over some music. But the ones who appreciate rap, such as myself and you, I think we can tell who's good, who's got it, and maybe who needs to give up. But no, not give up. I'm not dissing anyone, but just
keep trying.
Exactly.
Keep trying privately for a little while until you,
I mean, even that takes guts, just to put yourself out there and express something creative. In front of people. Do you do much live stuff?
Well, I've actually performed the last 2 Saturdays at different showcases. But it's the first time in a while, given everything, the lockdown and quarantine and all that stuff. But overall, I wouldn't say I've done a lot live. A few performances here and there for different showcases and different hosts and stuff like that. But there's definitely something I want to get more into. But stage presence is definitely a thing that I know I need to work on. As the music is getting better, I definitely need to be able to get up on a stage and like show it off. I'm a little bit stiff as a person.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a bit like that as well. But you've got to be yourself as well, haven't you? I think people, if you sort of really doing it over the top, I think people would see that as well.
Yeah.
But that's cool if you've done it 2 Saturdays in a row now. You want to roll. Keep going.
Yeah.
So how did you hear about New Artist Spotlight then? How did you get involved with NAS?
So that's a question I knew was going to come. just from watching so many of these interviews. And I actually had to go back and figure it out because it's like it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been forever. So I went and scrolled back through the beginning of like me and Ed's. Everybody should know Ed by now, but me and Ed's Instagram messages, and I'm like, nope, this is the beginning. So I went to Submit Hub and I went and scrolled all the way down and I found Ed Eagle and I clicked on it and it was just like a Submit Hub DM, like a follow for follow type of thing like that, where he had sent, his like link tree or something like that, and was like, yeah, they follow me here, and I was, doing the same thing, and then he was like, hey, if you want, I can add you to my playlist, and it's been locked in ever since. Really, a year now, right? Yeah.
Right.
Over a year.
He's on it, Ed Eagle, isn't he? I don't know how he finds enough time in the day. The amount of stuff that guy does.
Yeah, it has to be him. At least in the beginning, I know it had to be like just a time suck. But I know he's got mods now and things like that to kind of help the process. But it still seems like he's probably just always busy, even with all the extra help.
Yeah, he must be. Yeah. But yeah, you're right as well. The mods do a lot of work, and it's a great community to keep going and support local artists all over the world and get advice from each other and all sorts of things. So we're lucky to have it. So over the last few days, I've been listening in preparation. Obviously, you've been doing preparation as well for this, and there's some really good stuff in there. I like a lot of it. But I see as I was listening, I listened to it chronologically. So I started right at the beginning. And I thought,
okay.
And I didn't really recognize your sound in those sort of first few tracks. But as I was listening more, I felt like it was evolving. I felt like you were getting more confident. I felt like you were really sort of finding your style and your passion was kind of really coming through in every track. Would you agree with that? And how's your approach changed in the last few years as you have gone on?
I don't know if I totally agree with it.
That's
definitely
fine.
with the like when you say the passion, stuff like that seems to be coming out more. I think lately I've more or less kind of found a sound, I want to say. Like that, if you started from the beginning, then the first thing you probably heard would be like Journeys Remain Forever, like that first EP I put on streaming. And with that was me. Everything was me except the beats. So I mixed and mastered everything myself, which is why it isn't as good as everything is now. And so I'm trying to figure out the right way to put it to you. Those songs I feel like were me, especially me at the time. And like a song like Moral Code, which is on there, that song for me was like the song that was like, this is me. Like I try to make myself a part of all of my music, but Moral Code was like a little snapshot into like, this is where I'm coming from. Like, this is me. This is part of my life. And so my sound may not have been there all the way as it should have been. Delivery, different things like that just come with time and practice. But lyrically and message wise, I feel like I'm in that song, and the same with all the rest of the songs, but that song especially, like Dream was a song that I wrote for my now wife, who was just my girlfriend at the time. And then going forward, there was like a big gap. I think I dropped one song in 2019, which is One of One, and I feel like that song had a lot more like conviction in it and the delivery and everything like that. And I feel like that was just one of the songs that was just like, okay, all right, I can see it. I can see him kind of starting, and then after that, there was another big space. And this was just all because I was in college and I just didn't have time, and I was drowning for 5 years. But yeah, then I think I came back with like right before I graduated or right after I graduated with And We Up. And I liked it. Some people didn't. Mixed reviews on it. The chorus was very long and very repetitive, and I guess it was a little bit tedious to listen to. And then I think Talk My came, and with Talk My, there's a DJ in the city named DJ BJ, and he holds an event on his Instagram Live called New Music Mondays. And basically, you just join the live, and he would like send him your music, and he will play your music on there. And there's people in there. They either say it's fire or it's trash, or you get feedback right then. Some people are gonna hate, some people are gonna support. And what ended up happening was they're like, yeah, the song is good, but like you need to have more confidence in your delivery. And they said the mix needs to be better. And I'm like, all right, cool. And some people like came and like followed me after and things like that. But I think one person commented like, hey, I can help you with your mixes. And I'm thinking it's gonna be some guy that's just like gonna try to like rip me off, like, yeah, for like $150, I'll mix your song and I'll have it sound on like professional quality or something like that. And the guy, I ended up tapping in with him. His name's Tay Jacobs. He's the one that's been mixing just about everything you've heard in the last 6 months or more at this point. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you a discount on the first couple ones. And I always tell people like, oh, I don't have any money, because I always think people are just going to try to get money out of me.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, like once you get your job, because I was still at home unemployed. And he's like, once you get your job, I'll give you a discount on the first couple ones. And I'm like, well, how much are you talking? He's like, well, we'll talk about it then. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Why won't you tell me your price? But yeah, I went back and I was like, hey, I started working. Wanted to see how much you were charging to mix and master and everything like that. And he was like, well, I'll mix your song for $25, and for $50, I will do any extra vocal production, which is like anything beyond just like the EQ and compression that has to be on the song, and just simple stuff like that. Anything like if I'm trying to sing, and like I mentioned before, I can't. Him having to like fix that and like make it sound decent. That would be like an extra $25. So I'm like, all right, cool. The first song I sent him, and he worked on it, was just a song, just like straight up rap. The second song, I'm glad I sent him when I did. It was a song of me actually like trying to sing, and he sent it back, and it sounded really good. And then after that, his price did go up a little bit, like $25 to each. So it was like 50 and 75 instead of 25 and 50. And he basically changed my audio life, because now the music sounds so much better. And now I think the added benefit of knowing that the music is going to sound good after everything is all said and done makes me even like go into the studio and just try to like deliver it my best and go as hard as I can on it, because I'm like, I know I can write. That's been like, even when I was like completely offbeat and like I was just not that good, everybody always says you got bars, you can write. Maybe you just want to be a writer for somebody else because like you just don't have any rhythm. So now that I kind of got my rhythm together, and I know I got bars and things like that, I'm like, all right, now I can just go in there, and I'm like, everybody keeps saying confidence, confidence, confidence. I'm like, well, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, or I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do something. I'm just gonna go in there. I'm just gonna attack it like
yeah, that's the way to do it.
Assault, Yeah, I'm not. I can't just go in there and try. I just got to go in there and just like destroy it. And if I fall flat on my face going in there trying to destroy it, at least I tried, and then I can figure out something from there. But now, I don't know. I went in there a few times and it was like, just do it. Just don't think about it. Just go in and just attack it. And that is between that approach to it and Tay's mixing and mastering on my songs, I feel like everything is just shot up, which has changed the process to there's been a couple of songs where I just like I freestyled the songs, and as I'm trying to shoot music videos now, I realized like oh, I can't learn the words because I never wrote the words, and I have to go back and write the words from the song, and I have to,
Yeah.
try to do that, and then I can try to practice the lyrics for the music videos and stuff like that I'm trying to put out now as I work on other things. And so yeah, the process has changed a bit now because I approach the song structure like how you were saying.
Yeah, I think that's good, mate. I think you can tell that you're evolving. Like you said with the lyrics, I think you're absolutely right. You can tell with the earlier stuff that the lyrics are raw. I think it was Plummy himself who said to me, "You've got a lifetime to make your first album, and then you've got like 18 months to do your second," or something like that. It's like for their first tracks, you've got everything in there ready to come out, and then once it's out, I think a lot of people give up because they realize they've got nothing else to write about, or they lose interest. Whereas you have clearly not done that. You've looked at it and gone, right, what can I do next? How can I make this even better? And that comes across in your music. Another thing that I noticed, you don't really swear a lot or curse a lot, as you Americans say, I believe. Yeah, is that deliberate? Because a lot of rap, it's constant cursing. Is that a deliberate thing, or?
That is a very deliberate thing. There are some times where there are some lines where the curse word fits perfectly, and like in your head that like if anybody else said it, they would say it this way, and it would hit just so hard the way this is, and you have to be like, nah, I got to get creative. I got to go back and try to figure something out. If I got to rewrite the line, or I got to try to find a similar word, similar syllables or something, because
yeah, I do the same thing myself. Yeah, I feel like it forces you to be more articulate, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I keep going back to things that I had to answer on Instagram or had people answer on Instagram, but I posted it because I was just saying thank you to all the artists who I worked with who went back and said, who went back and like either rewrote their lyrics or just chose to not curse in their lyrics at all, because they know that I don't. And somebody asked like, why don't you curse? And I was telling them basically just like, as a Christian, I don't feel like I should curse because it's just a thing that we're not supposed to do. And then, who's listening to your music? Kids might be listening. My parents listen to my music. Well, at least my dad listens sometimes. My mom will go and buy every single thing that I put out. And thanks, Mom. I love you. She buys every song. As soon as I put the song out, she's like, is this song on my phone already? And I'm like, no, I just put it out today. And she's like, well, come over and put it on my phone. So if I put out something that is like completely vulgar, which I'm not saying I haven't put out anything that's, a little edgy or, with some different content, but I'm not saying she listens to everything, but she'll buy everything and she'll support everything and she'll hear it at least once. So there has been times where she's called me and been like, so I know I had this on my phone for a while, but I've never listened to it until now. And I didn't know you said that stuff. And I was like, yeah, just probably don't listen to that one all the time. But
I was watching something recently about Notorious B.I.G. and his mum was listening to his tracks and was like, what? This is not my son. So yeah, thankfully it's nothing too extreme. Yeah. It's on. I think it's on Netflix at the moment in the UK, but I don't know if it's on over there. But it was funny. But I think it's a good decision. Like myself as well, I do. I'm starting to do some busking. So like if I'm playing live in the street and there's kids walking past, I can do my own catalogue without having to worry about, if there's curse words coming up or what to do. So that's another thing with you as well. If you ever do like daytime events and stuff, that'll sit in your favour. The fact that you don't, it's family friendly. But like you say, there's edgy stuff in there, and in a way that's even better when you have to write the edgy stuff without resorting to cursing. That's like a real challenge sometimes, I think, but it is worth it.
Yeah, and then it also saves you money because you don't have to like go back and get a clean version of the song mixed or anything like that. You just sometimes, have you heard clean versions of songs? Like there's they block out the cuss words and they put a different line in there, and it's just
or they just put a boing.
It doesn't fit. Yeah, like
it doesn't work for me. Or they just silence it, and it's really strange. But I think you've done the right thing there. So, I mean, honestly, I could talk about this sort of stuff all day, but we still got the mystery announcement to come at the end of the show. And before that, though, what can we expect to see from Origin Crxss in the future? What new projects are you working on?
So I'm actually working on my project. I've been calling it a project because I don't know necessarily what it is. So the plan was always EP, mixtape, album. I've put out the EP, Journeys Remain Forever. My dog is attacking me right now.
I know the feeling.
So right now I am working on this project that is still actually currently untitled, but I am okay, sir, I'm gonna need you to go do something else. It's still untitled. There are some options for the title that I have, and a little something special for the podcast because I haven't given any information about it at all. One of the leading options right now is Faith Over Fear, which actually fits a little bit perfectly, like I said, with the musical, me always including like my faith in my music. And actually the first song on the project, also new information, is called Faith.
Amazing.
So that is coming. That has a ridiculous amount of features on it. Right now it's sitting at 11. There's going to be at least 12 songs on it though. Which is why I'm not sure if I want to call it a mixtape, because it's all like, beats that I've bought. Okay. He wants to say hi. This is Belgium.
Belgium. Hello.
He is here.
Here he is.
How you doing there, sir?
We'll get around to interviewing Belgium next week, I think.
Please. He obviously needs the attention.
Yeah. He loves it.
But yeah, so you can expect actually a music video is dropping today for a song that I put out, Lose Hope, on Halloween last year. That's coming today. The show and tell video came out a week or two ago. There are going to be at least 3 more videos all for the project that I'm working on coming out. You can expect a single every month, as I've been doing for at least the rest of the year. You can expect the project, I'm thinking, in August. The plan is to upload it in a couple of weeks, wherever it may be, and then drop it in August. Okay, sir.
That's amazing, man. It sounds like you've got loads going on. So yeah, looking forward to hearing all that. So it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you and to get this time to chat with you, because it's not often we sort of get this time in life to just chill out and chew the fat and learn off each other, chat about music. I love it. So before we wrap up, I know you're on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram at least, because I follow you on all of those, and love everything that you're putting out. So if you just tell the listeners how they can find you, where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on just about every platform. As you said, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Music. Well, not Apple Music, but you can find me on Apple Music currently as Origin. That's one store that still hasn't updated, but on all the streaming platforms and all the social media, another reason why I changed my name is so you can go follow me at Origin_Crxss.
Yeah, and that's Cross with an X, isn't it, instead of an O?
Exactly, CRXSS.
Brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much. And now it is time for the mystery announcement. So we know that Plummy has gone. He was host of this podcast for pretty much the whole time it's been running, and he's left some pretty big shoes to fill. I can't fill them alone. I need a co-host for the podcast going forward. So I'm now revealing that the mystery news is that the co-host has been chosen, and the person who's going to be the co-host for the podcast is you, Mr. Origin Crxss.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're shocked.
I take this as a great honor. I'm glad that I was chosen. Completely out of left field. Did not see this coming. But I will step up to the plate and I will help you make this podcast as great and as awesome and amazing as it can be. Yeah, completely out of left field. I totally didn't expect that. When was this decision made?
This is the thing with mystery announcements. We just throw you in the deep end and expect you to swim.
I can't swim, but I'll float.
Yeah, that'll do. Well, yeah, we'll take it. So yeah, looking forward to working with you, and we'll sit down next time with another artist. We'll quiz them together. But for now, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to NAS founder Ed Eagle, or NAS founder and Ed Eagle, I should say, the moderating team, and everybody in the New Artist Spotlight community. We'll see you all next time.
See you. Peace.
See you later, guys.